And we are live with episode 155 of the Beastly Thoughts live show here on Twitch. And we are live with episode 150. And I forgot to mute the Twitch stream.
Oh, no.
So you get to hear that twice.
See, if you dive into this, you're guaranteed flawless delivery.
Flawless. The tech side, I've got it just worked the fuck out.
Hey, I mean, we've only been
no
doing this for a
issues
couple
whatsoever.
of years. He's got it. Nailed it.
In all fairness, though, there's been multiple iterations of the show. It's been called Beastly Thoughts for a long time, but I mean, it started off the first episode that we did together. We had a Skype call on our Xboxes, and then used an Elgato to record it.
There was no lighting. Craziest thing I've ever done in my life.
No. So, I mean, we're working through it. I think actually next week or the week after, it's going to be even different than it is this week. We're going to have kind of a new format and visually anyway.
I can't wait.
Some cool stuff to show off.
And I ordered a new camera. I don't have to worry about this crappy camera anymore. I think
I'm glad to hear that. You know, Beastly, I've been watching your YouTube videos, and I've been loving the stuff you're doing live in front of the camera. Like, I really like it. But that camera's got like a display lag or something, so it's a little distracted. I'm glad to hear that you're gonna get a new camera. That's
C922, the Logitech. It's the newest one. It has it removes backgrounds automatically, and I watched some reviews on it. It doesn't matter where you are. You could have a room full of people. It'll remove people behind you. I have a green screen, so it's not really an issue, but it's very clear. It's 1080p.
1080p 60 frames per second too, right?
60 frames per second. It's really, really incredible. And, you know, I've had some people in my YouTube videos commenting about that camera. Say, Beastly, I love your content, but the camera is crappy, man. And I'm like, okay, it's time to pull the trigger on this thing. And so I finally pulled it. It'll be here by Tuesday. Super excited.
Those Logitech, the C920 is like a Twitch streamer, a YouTuber. It's like, it's part of the package. You get a blue microphone, you get a C920, and you just go down on YouTube.
You're good to go,
right? Same on Twitch. But the C922 is like the newer version of the C920, and people are loving it. Watts has one. Miss 5000 Watts has one, and I think can it do 4K video?
I don't think it can do 4K. It can do 60 frames per second, and I know that was really, really great. I watched a bunch of videos on that, and the 1080p is awesome. So
usually it's Gary selling me shit. Now it's you too. What the fuck?
I can't let him take all the fucking
He's gonna
glory.
make you spend a lot of money.
I've got it right here, so if you get the C922, you can look as fabulous as I do right here. So
Not sponsored though, right?
That's the advert.
Hold
Not
on,
sponsored.
you know what? I got to get some bleach because I don't know how I can do all this, but you look great. You look
Appreciate
great,
that.
Gary.
Appreciate it. I'm not touching that one.
I love you too, buddy. He said, Robbie, you're too young to get that joke. It's totally fine. Guys, welcome to episode 155, Beastly Thoughts Live, the E3 special. I know everybody out there is excited about what's going to be happening this year with E3. Everybody's coming out to show the new goodies, games, and gadgets. And in this episode, we're going to go through the gamut of what we expect to see at E3 this year. But before we do that, we've got to go through our traditional thing and find out what we've been playing. So, Mr. Gary, would you like to elaborate on what you've been playing this week?
More than happy to, basically. Thank you very much. This week has been divided between two games, one portable, one console traditional. We're going to go through it at record pace because most of the Beastly Thoughts team, excluding one very important rabbit, played this together actually, so we can have a kind of a group discussion. We did invite him, but he's far too Hollywood to spend time with the rest of us off of the show. So
Way too famous now,
Hollywood Rabbit.
Yeah, he's so famous for all of us.
They just didn't invite me. They knew I sucked, so they didn't want me on the team.
Oh yeah, right, Briar.
To be fair, we did want to win, so you know.
That's no rabbit on this team.
So it's a free to play Moss, which is a multiplayer online hero shooter called Paladins. Released by
there's now an acronym for this type of.
First time I'm hearing it too.
Yeah,
right.
Moss.
That's awesome.
Moss, MOHS, because it's not a MOBA. Well, it kind of is traditionally a MOBA, but in a first-person shooter genre. So multiplayer online hero shooter.
So when is the first? What's the first Moss? Is it?
To an extent, Overwatch could be categorized as the first Moss to popularize the genre, but there's been others that have been previous to that, so things like Global Agenda. But this is made by Hi-Rez Studios. Talking about Global Agendas, they're the maker of Smite, Global Agenda, and Tribes Ascend for the PC. Game's currently in early access or beta. It kind of feels like a hybrid of League of Legends, Smite, and Overwatch. The gameplay is instantly accessible, but with the free-to-play elements, you've got cards, runes, and an item shop that adds depth and complexity that's stripped back from Overwatch to keep it more mainstream friendly. With it being a free-to-play game, there's always a concern that that type of a game is going to be pay to win. My takeaway from playing it for about 20 hours is that the heroes and cards can be earned at a very generous rate and purchased with either real cash or in-game currency, which supports the free-to-play model.
So the heroes are not all unlocked from the get-go like they are in Overwatch?
No, they're not.
No, so obviously Overwatch, you pay a $60 ticket price or $40, I don't know what it is now, and you'd expect the content to be fully there. This is very similar to League of Legends, which is why I mentioned it in that genre. League's the most popular game in the world, aside from Minecraft. Popular game on Twitch, then, that's a fair thing to say. And in that, you get a subset of heroes, and if you want to purchase more heroes, you buy them with real cash. There's no way to do that except paying, ponying up the dollars for them. And that's obviously, a model that people are familiar and comfortable with in this genre. The point I wanted to make is that the game is incredibly fun to pick up and play with buddies, and there's no cash barrier to entry. All three of us got in there and played together. In terms of what the cost is, to give you guys an accurate view, and then I'm going to pass over to Beastly, who I know has played the PS4 side of things. The season pass equivalent, which is unlocking all the characters today and all future characters, is $20. So that will get you every character that's in the game and every character they ever release indefinitely for $20, which I think is a very fair price for it. It's not excessive.
Extremely fair.
And you can purchase boosters, which give you an increased rate of XP and gold, so increased progression rate, for a rate of $5 for a 7-day booster or $10 for a month-long booster. So I really recommend it to anyone who enjoys the Moss style of shooter, so the Overwatch style, and wants to pick up and play something that has the instant gameplay of Overwatch, but with more complexity of something like League of Legends. Now, I've played the PC version predominantly, but I know that Beastly and Robbie have been playing some other variants of the PS4 and possibly Xbox versions. Beastly, do you want to take it away and tell me how you felt?
Real quick, I got a couple of questions, because since you've been playing the PC version and you've played the PS4 version, one of the problems I have with Overwatch is that the game is fun, and I'm comparing Overwatch to this game for obvious reasons, but the game seems fun, but I don't like the way it feels on the PS4 at all. So I don't really like playing Overwatch on the PS4 because, I don't know, there's something about the aim. There's something about using a controller to aim that precisely in a game, and it doesn't seem to have like the aim assist of a Call of Duty or a Destiny. So it seems a little more difficult and a little more imprecise. But on the PC with the mouse and keyboard, I actually love the game. So I was wondering, how does it feel on the PS4 as compared to Overwatch, or on the PC as compared to Overwatch?
Well, Gary, if you'd like to answer first, you can. But my thoughts on it are this: I'm not a traditional PC player. I have a gaming PC, dated as it may be, but the game played fine on here. I actually played it in 4K, and it ran smooth, 60 frames per second. And even a person like myself playing with a mouse and keyboard, I found no issue with that precise aiming you speak of. It's incredible.
Right. So with mouse and keyboard, I would imagine is pretty precise. But how's it feel on the PS4?
PS4 feels very similar to the experience that you have with Overwatch. It's 60 frames per second. There isn't a lot of issues, for me at least, finding that precise aim, because I'm used to playing Overwatch, and the game feels very similar to that for me. So if a person is used to having that precise aim and not that much aim assist, the PS4 version or possibly the Xbox One version might give you more issue. But after playing this on PC, I can really now understand anyone who plays a game on the PC having an issue playing these types of games on a console, because it's always been kind of hard for me to really understand. But we sat and played this game for an hour or two on Friday night, and just learning and figuring out exactly how to move around and how to navigate the world and shoot people and move back and forth and jump out of the way. It's incredible what you can do with a gaming mouse versus what you can with a controller. And if you're used to a controller, I tried to talk to my wife. I tried to talk her into playing it on her PC. I installed it on her PC. I said, it's great. She said, but I don't play on PCs. Can we just please play on the PS4s? And so we've been playing it, since yesterday on the PS4s and having a ball with it. For me, the issue is this. Are you used to playing on the PC? If you're used to playing on the PC, you probably need to play it there. If you're used to playing it on a console, you're going to be playing against other people on the console who have the same degree of difficulty aiming that you're having. And for me, it feels very similar to games like Overwatch. I absolutely love this game, and in a lot of ways so far, I hate to say it, I actually like it a little bit more than Overwatch. There's just more. There's more layers to the different things that you can do. There's so much tweak to this game. You can change the way your character plays. You can change so many aspects to the.
Is there like a skill tree?
No, it's not a skill. It's if you want to explain the cards, you can, Gary. You probably know a little bit more than I do. Go ahead.
I'll run through it very, very briefly. Didn't know how deep we wanted to go on it, so I thought I'd touch on that.
Talk about it. This game is amazing, and everybody needs to play it. It's incredible.
It is super good. It really is.
In the same way that Overwatch has heroes that you pick that fulfill a role and have set skills, you get that in Paladins. Mm-hmm. So you pick. Let's take something that everyone knows. So let's take Reinhardt, because there's a direct equivalent over there, the tank equivalent. Mm-hmm. You'll have the shield you can drop down in front of you. You'll have a rush forward maneuver. They're always the same. They're always going to do the same function. But then you have 5 cards that you play. So if you're familiar with Hearthstone or Magic the Gathering, where you draw cards from a deck, you can then customize your loadout with 5 cards. Now those cards you lock at the start of the game, and the cards are visible to the enemy team, so they've got time to lock down their cards as well. So it's counter versus counter, and these cards can have significant effects on the way that your character plays. Things like, 50% additional headshot damage after a body shot,
health regeneration,
real uniqueness to the way it plays. It'll turn an ability from a projectile.
Do you have access to these cards all the time, or are they unlocked via like opening boxes, or
yes?
Where do you get these? And are they one use per? Do they go away after the first use?
Forever.
You keep them forever.
Yeah, so you get every single character that you unlock or you purchase or you have at the start has a set of 5 cards, 5 basic cards that are actually very functional, and a lot of them you'll use indefinitely. But if you want to supplement that with other flavor cards that play differently, you do have to unlock them with either in-game currency or physical currency, or earn them in chests. Being completely honest with you, it is a very, very generous system, and you don't find that you're scraping the barrel or playing for hours to get them. You can purchase, just at the start of it, they give you 50,000 essence, which is currency, and you can probably buy 15 cards with that, I'd say, if that's fair, guys.
Yeah, around that.
Yesterday, Kate and I played for about 2 or 3 hours, and I was playing, I don't even know her name, I'm not Robbie, but the bow using character, the young lady, I unlocked pretty much every card that she has. I bought another character, I unlocked every card, and that's when the game became fun to me. It's just so many different ways that you can do things in this game. I mean, it really is incredible. She has, for instance, a bomb that she attaches to one of her arrows, and when she shoots it, it's an area of effect. You can use a card to make that area of effect grow larger, and at the bottom of each card, you can actually add to that card. So say, for instance, it gets 30% bigger. You have, 12 points you can use for your cards, Gary?
Yeah.
If you have 5 cards, it's only 5 points. You can actually upgrade each of those cards once and then do another one 2 times, or you can upgrade one of those other cards 7 times, adding power or adding area of effect. And so I don't think anyone on earth is going to play this game the exact same way. It's just really incredible. I mean, it's something I'm really just getting into. Gary kind of opened that door. He cracked it open for me Friday. And I didn't know really what to expect. You hear those words, the terrible words, free to play. You're like, oh, God. What is this? Are they trying to be another? What is the
gets you
kart racer that we all love? The
Sonic Racing?
Not Sonic Racing. The PlayStation
Crash Bandicoot Racing.
No, come on. No.
That's an old game. Oh, wow.
Mod Nations or whatever, was it?
Mod Nation, of course. Mod Nation Racers.
Why are you
Rock
guys
and Roll
doing this?
Racing. Rock and Roll Racing.
Rocket League. Thanks, Briar. You almost fucked me up.
Damn it.
Rocket League.
It
just
Rock and Roll Racing.
It was right there, but it wasn't. Rocket League has always struck me as like a diamond in the rough type of situation. A game that's free to play, or at least it was. It was a free game on the launch that was just so rewarding and so giving, and it was just a magical experience. I honestly got to say, after playing this game for the amount of hours I played it, this might be and probably is the best free-to-play game I've ever played in my life. It's extremely rewarding. All the characters you can unlock. If you see a character, you see someone playing with that character, you want to try them, you can save up 5,000 points. Boom, you can go and buy that character. You can learn all their moves. You can unlock their cards, and you can pretty much play the way you want to play. It's so many more layers in a game like Overwatch because of the different ways and intricacies to the ways that you can change the way that your character is offensive versus defensive. You can add perks to the way that you regenerate health. You can, like, the character I play with, if you roll, she has this move where she can roll out of the way real quick, and if you pull out your arrow, the first shot does 400 damage versus the normal 100 if you use a particular card. There's just so many different things you can do.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys a question. Do you guys? It sounds like it's really fun. I think you've convinced me to download it for sure. You guys see yourself playing it in 3 months?
No idea, to be honest. I mean, yeah.
See, I personally will. The reason that I think there is that it has a ranked mode, very similar to Overwatch, and a lot of the parts that BC was explaining there, the complexities are really going to come into play when you move into that ranked section. So we're still playing casual. The game has the same mechanic that League of Legends has, where it locks your character choices at the start. So you can't tinker all that stuff that we're talking about once the game's started. So you have to determine in the lobby what the other team's done to what you do. And then there's another element which really struck me, which is the League of Legends element, where it incentivizes you to play the objective and perform well as a team. So there's 4 rounds per match, and at each end of each round you get to spend money in the item shop. And the item shop, the only way you can build that currency is by performing well in the game. So the more time you spend on the objective, the more time you're healing if you're a healer, or defending if you're a tank, you will earn a currency that you can then spend to either be more offensive, more defensive, more utility, more. And that really plays out. That's where it kind of becomes like chess, in that if the other team are being really aggressive and offensive, well, if you put on heavy defensive use on the item shop, then you can actually break that offense and push back. And, you know, something like Overwatch just doesn't have that complexity. It's designed to be much more mass market and mainstream, where you just switch character and everything else is done for you. That's it. That's your only choice, is what character you're going to play.
Absolutely.
So it's like a Dota compared to, or League of Legends is Overwatch and Dota is this game.
Paladins, yeah. So much more complex, much more complex.
And I did not expect that, because I've never played a MOBA, Briar. You know, I'm a console gamer primarily. That's something I've always stayed away from. And when he started introducing these cards to me, I was looking at the screen like, what the hell are these for? And then when I started tinkering around with it, I was like, wow, there's so many levels to the way that you can play a game like this. Something that console gamers, at least in this genre, are not used to. And it really struck me as like a big surprise. I love this game. And that's what we're playing. You know, I got lots of games here that I could be playing that I spent money on. It usually feels better to play games you pay money for, but this game is a hell of a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it. I can't believe it's just the beta. It feels so, you know, at this point, so complete and so refreshing. And I gotta agree with you, Gary. I think this will be something I'll play for a long time. I still play Overwatch all the time. And once, you know, I get to the point where I know exactly what I'm doing, what cards I'm going to use, and how I'm going to tinker and play with these characters, it just seems more rewarding. You have to put more deliberate thought into the way you play this game. So I can probably guarantee I'll be playing it in 3 months.
Gary, have you been playing it mainly with teams or mainly solo?
Mainly solo. The first time I played it as a team was with Beasley and Robbie.
We had a blast.
Ghost
ass too. It was awesome. Well. It was really fun.
I'm only playing casual, so I'm not playing ranked. When I go into ranked, I'll probably start looking on Reddit for teams and people to play with. But I still feel like as long as you look at team composition that you've picked versus what the other team have picked, you make an intelligent choice, because that's locked for the whole game. You can know that at least you stand a chance of playing, because someone can't switch out and play something that counters you. You know, you've got your counters and other things. To me, like I said, it's going to make its money through selling skins, and that's what they've been determined to say. You know, all the things that are high cash purchases, things that are really expensive, are your exotic skins, exotic weapon skins, exotic emotes,
purely
all that
cosmetic.
Kind of stuff.
Yeah, they look great.
Awesome.
It actually makes me want to buy them. Yeah.
The fundamental nuts and bolts, which give you a power advantage, are very, very cheap to earn. $20 up front will get you all the characters, like I said. Boosters, $5 for a week or $10 for a month. I'd say if you have the capabilities to play this on PS4, Xbox, or PC, download it. You've got nothing to lose. It's free. You know, try it out. Paladins.
It's really good, and it does that free-to-play thing so well. And even on my PC, I could run the game at max settings, and it mostly stays at 60 frames. Like, it runs on pretty much anything. So.
And Briar, even my caveman laptop ran it at 4K 60 with no issues, man. Couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it.
I don't know who to toss this to for the next, because everybody else has been playing this game. And who wants to
I
go
could
next
quickly pitch in.
Okay, go ahead, Robbie.
I was just going to say, besides Paladins, which I really do like, and I definitely want to play more of that game. It definitely surprised me how good it was. I've also been playing some more Call of Duty 4. I've been really enjoying the remastered version. You know, just I'm really enjoying playing Call of Duty, and I think just my excitement has been renewed for Call of Duty World War II. And
is it?
So yeah,
you think that's what it is? Is the World War II announcement kind of got you like excited about Call of Duty again? So
it really has, yeah. And that boots on the ground
feel.
feel. It's like this game is so much more fun to me than Infinite Warfare, or Black Ops 3. I just really don't love those games that much, but to me, this is just so much better. But anyways, yeah, that's what I've been playing. And Briar, I want to really, really hear about what you're doing this week, because you have a very special game you're going to see. Isn't that right?
Oh man,
yeah,
so fucking awesome.
I mean, I've talked about this before, but yeah, I'm going to see Destiny 2 on Thursday, so I'm really excited about that.
Holy shit, man! Yeah.
Like getting my hands out. I'll be able to actually play it too, which is amazing. To actually play Destiny 2 on Thursday.
You'll be one of the first people in the world outside of Bungie to play it.
He's going to have footage of it.
Think about that.
I'm not sure about that, BC. We'll see about that.
Let's pray, man. Let's pray.
I'm going to do everything I can to get footage, but we'll have to see. But yeah, I'm really excited about that. I'm also really excited about PlayerUnknown Battleground. I know I talked about this last week, but I had my first experience playing as a team yesterday. Sat down after kind of a grueling morning. I thought I'd sit down for an hour or two and hit Wilson up on Twitter, and we just sat down. I thought we'd play for an hour or two. It ended up being 5.5 or 6 hours worth of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. And the whole time we're laughing, we're giggling, we're having a great time, we're yelling at the screen. But there's something about the gameplay loop in that game where you drop in, you have this initial burst of chaos, right? And if you survive it, then you go through this like 20-minute like stretch of very calm, very deliberate, like looting and being careful and looking at windows before you approach buildings, just being very careful, very calm. And then suddenly ultra violence, right? And it's just like, wow! And it's so weird because you have that initial burst of probably violence, unless you just happen to land somewhere nobody else has landed. But then kind of that slow and methodical thinking man's game, which almost it takes away your preparedness for that burst of that final bit of violence. That is, it really it sets you up to. It really is. It's a fun gameplay loop over and over again. Again, there's no game I've played recently that has me just hitting that one more game button so many times every time I play it. You know, I stop by to play. I'll just play 20 minutes of PUBG. And then I end up sitting there for 2 hours, 3 hours. And playing with a teammate was a lot of fun, but I do like playing solo as well.
I'm pissed off now because I completely forgot. I've been so busy all week. I was supposed to buy it during the last 7 days. I'll buy it this week. I want to play that. Every time you talk about it, it's like I feel like that feeling you get when you're in a haunted house, the hairs on the back of your neck stands up. You know it's a special experience.
When you play as solo, it almost feels like a horror game because you got the volume way up so you can hear footsteps or vehicles around you, and you're really just like super tense. You're going through buildings, and there could literally be a dude aiming a shotgun at any door you go through, right? So you're just absolutely on edge the entire time. And then finally, there is a dude at that door that you just walked through. You know, after the 30th or 40th door, there is a dude in there. Or you're just like, you're hauling ass across an open field, and you see that blue line coming to get you. You know, the bubble is getting smaller, and you have to get to the safe zone. And all of a sudden, you start seeing, you start hearing that whistle of shots getting fired at you. And you're like, oh, shit. And you're in the middle of a field, so
that's awesome, man.
It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. It's really fun. I had a blast with Wilson playing it yesterday, and I really look forward to playing with you guys if you end up jumping on.
Hell yes.
But it is.
I'm down.
Have you played with any of us yet in that game, or is it
no, not yet. Try to get Gary in. Haven't been able to hook up with him yet, but Robbie, I sent a video card so I can play with Robbie.
Ooh, Robbie, you just
Should be here
up,
probably
Robbie.
tomorrow or Tuesday, so very soon.
I do really want to play it with you, bro, or with anyone, to be honest.
I'll buy it. I'll buy it today. I'll buy it when we get done with the show. I promise. And whenever you guys want to get together and do it, I'm down. Because it's been like 200 years since we played the game together. And so me, Gary, and Robbie, when we played this Friday, I was like, I haven't been here in years.
I probably got time. I got probably time to play tomorrow night. Okay. But Tuesday night is going to be about packing. Wednesday is going to be a travel day, and then hanging out with like the Destiny peeps over in LA. And then Thursday,
big orgy.
Thursday is Destiny 2 day, and then Friday is probably Destiny 2 video day.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'd love to play with someone because I burnt out on that game real quick, and I think I spoke about it, 4 weeks ago, was it?
Yeah.
When I first played it. And I probably put about 15, 20 hours in that 1 week, just straight through. But I'm a very impatient guy, almost like ADD levels.
I feel like we're going to make a good team then, Gary, because I am impatient too. Like, I can't, like, I've tried to do that. Like, I'll hang out in the attic of a building until, like, the circle gets smaller. It's not for me. I'd rather just go rushing in and take that shotgun blast to the face if that's what's in store.
Fucking thug, man.
For me, it's the frenetic, fast-paced multiplayer games that I love, and I guess having a teammate there takes the edge off it. Because if I'm not shooting someone for 20 minutes, I'm hitting that X on the top right. You know, it's just how I roll.
I feel like the way me and Wilson were playing is we were trying to jump down into areas that we knew would be somewhat contested, and then win that initial battle. Right? Is like, you know. Because you can see as you parachute down into wherever you're going to spawn in, you can see other people coming in. So you prepare mentally for that battle. And sometimes you got to do it fisticuffs. You know, sometimes you just got to knock a motherfucker out.
I've seen there's a growing trend of nudity in that game as well. A lot of people are jumping in just in their boxer briefs, aren't they? That's like a big thing.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's how I was playing yesterday. Murder is better in the nude, I think. So yesterday
this game now.
Me and Wilson are playing, and at one point we dropped down into this like kind of little horseshoe-shaped military base, and there's another team that's dropped in with us. I drop in, another guy's like following me into the same warehouse. I pick up a frying pan, and I'm trying to hit the guy with the frying pan, and the other guy like does this like Superman punch and like jacks me in the head. And I'm crying out, Wilson, come save me, because Wilson had picked up a gun. Wilson comes running in, blasts the guy with a shotgun. It's just really exciting. It's just like these moment-to-moment, like super jolts of adrenaline that are so much fun. And then it does have these long periods of like there's not a whole lot of action. It's like, you know, you're talking about like, you know, I need a 4X scope. I'm looking for, you know, we're looking for this. Where should we go next? You know, we've got to run to the next location. But then when that sets up that adrenaline hit, right? It's like, because you're not just like at this like static, this like level playing field of constant action, you have these dips in like how much action too, but the highs are so high because there's so much on the line every time you get into a gunfight that it really is a lot of fun. Church boy. we had some good times yesterday.
What? Church boy.
I was sniping somebody at one point who's up in the bell tower of a church, and all I had was like a SMG. I'm just like, pop, pop. It was fun. It's a fun game. I'm really enjoying it.
So let me ask you a question, Briar. I mean, as someone who's known PC gaming years ago and really kind of got into console gaming more recently, a person like me, would it be easy for me to get good playing, you know, with mouse and keyboard, you know, after hours and hours and hours of playing? Because, you know, I'm almost 40 years old.
Yeah.
I feel like the Rock Man for the Neverending Story. These hands aren't made for this shit. Will I ever
I'll tell you,
there?
Beasley, if I could have like the controller for the left-hand side and the mouse for the right-hand side, I think that would be the best option for me personally. Because like my pinky gets tired from holding down shift for 6 hours at a time. You know? Like when shit is really hitting the fan and the adrenaline is high, like sometimes I hit R instead of F, you know, and it just, you know, I'm reloading my gun instead of opening a door, and like shit just goes wrong because it's not ingrained into my, you know, my muscle memory like a controller is. But the mouse, aiming with a mouse is pretty fucking natural, right? It's like, you know, you just move around the mouse, but it's the keyboard for me that is a little on the wonky side. But I would think that after a while you get used to it. You know, it's just practice. Practice with anything.
For sure.
Yeah. I'd also say that PUBG is a unique beast in the same way that H1Z1 is. So even if you were to be good, I mean, I'd say I'm relatively acceptable at PC first-person shooters. I've played them for a long time. I am not very good at PUBG. There's a unique way of aiming and moving, like because it's a third-person game, that you can switch to first-person. A lot of the time, you'll just be shooting the scenery in front of you, and there's a peculiar way of learning it. So I think you wouldn't be at a disadvantage by coming in cold because you're learning the game in the same way a lot of people are. So
yeah, it's a lot of fun. I would love to play with you guys at some point. It is my current addiction. Like
we absolutely will.
It really is.
That's more motivating for me because I actually bought this gaming PC because I wanted something to be able to do my videos and render on, but also that was powerful enough to play what at the time I thought was my passion, which was DayZ. Of course, it was able to destroy DayZ, but I had nobody to play with. And so I was kind of in there. I got my wife in there. We were walking around, figuring things out. And, of course, she gets pregnant and shit goes left. Now I got guys I can actually play a game with. So I'm excited.
Yeah, it's only $30, so.
Yeah. I'm the beastly gamer. $30 ain't shit. All right, so look. I'm just kidding. I need $30. Send it to my PayPal. Guys, E3 2017, exciting time. Of course, Robbie Skull, the show would not exist without Robbie. I know a lot of you guys think he just sends us syrup through the mail. He's an incredible guy. He puts our news together, and he took a lot of time to put together our E3 predictions list, and he went through the gamut. I mean, it's so professional. You think that this guy was actually a professional. I saw it, and I was like, I don't even want to participate. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. But Robbie put together this incredible list of demands for all the co-hosts to put together.
Well, okay, don't put it like that. I force you guys.
And so he's put together this list of demands. And Robbie, it's your baby. Why don't you dive into how we're going to get this thing done, what we're going to talk about, and we'll go through our predictions and our thoughts on what we're going to see at E3 2017.
Absolutely, guys. There is an awful lot to break down because we are a little under a month from E3, which is unbelievable to say. It does not feel like it's that close, but it will be here before we know it.
You told us about this list, and I was like, isn't it a bit early for E3? No, it's not, is it?
No, it's not. No. Yeah. That's what I thought too, Briar, initially. I was like, you know what? We could probably wait. I'm like, well, no, actually, it's like a month out. We should probably do it. So, yeah, there's multiple ways we can break this down. We could do it by conference. We could sort of just go all out. We could do the top 5 things we want to kind of see happen. What do you guys feel like we should kind of tackle on this?
We need to tackle it as the way that you actually created the document, because if you don't, I'll be confused as hell. So let's do it the way that you actually laid it out.
So one of the first things I want to get to is by conference, and I think the first one we should really discuss, because this is going to be important, is, of course, Microsoft's conference. We have Xbox Scorpio coming. We know a lot of first-party IPs we'd like to probably see announced. So let's start with Microsoft, guys, and let's each discuss what we think Xbox Scorpio is going to be named, what it's going to be priced, and when it's going to be released. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I think we want to start with name, right? Okay, the name is going to be the Xbox 3.
What?
Yeah, I mean, it's
really.
Look at the way they name stuff. The Xbox One is the third Xbox, so God. we're going in the right direction there. Windows 7 is like the 8th version of Windows, so there is no rhyme or reason for why Microsoft names shit. So I'm just taking a random shot in the dark, probably like what they're doing.
I love it. Yeah.
I think that there's going to be 2 versions of the console sold. I think there's going to be a $399 version that is bare bones, comes with a 500 gigabyte hard drive, and there's going to be a $499 version that comes with a 1 terabyte drive and a pack-in game, something along those lines. I think that I think they are going to try and hit that $399 price point.
Holy shit! I hope you're right. That's all I can say.
I wasn't brave enough to do that, Briar.
And then I randomly threw a dart at a Tuesday in November and hit November 7th.
All right. Wow.
I just said mid-November, so we get the date out of the way, okay? I'm not going to look at the calendar and do that. But I think that the new Xbox, I feel like if they throw a number out there, they're going to kind of confuse the market. Because if they call it the Xbox 3, people are going to wonder where the Xbox 2 is at. I think they're going to call it something like...
That was the Xbox 360.
Yeah, the Xbox 3.
You just confused me right there. Okay, so I think that the name, and I talked to my wife about it, and of course she was feeding the baby. She didn't care. I think that a good name for the new Xbox, the Xbox Scorpio, would be the Xbox Infinity. I think the Xbox Infinity
is the same name I had. I kid you not. Wow.
Hey, man.
There we go.
That sounds like a smartphone.
I might be your real father, Robbie. Who knows, man? It's all in the genes.
Xbox Infinity.
Xbox Infinity. I think that the name makes sense because of the iterative change they're trying to bring to the console, saying that the Xbox Scorpio would kind of put an end to generational leaps, that they would be able to kind of bring this thing out every couple of years and add iterative changes.
Then,
so I'm thinking,
then they can name the next one Xbox Infinity Plus One. Fucking Beastly, God. I'm on board. I'm on board.
You, man.
There we go.
Sold. I'm going with Beastly's idea.
So I'm thinking that I didn't give too much thought to them bringing out two versions of this, but I was thinking that the sweet spot that they could hit that would excite gamers and get people on board with this thing is $450. I think that you could easily ask for $50 more than the PS4 Pro for the extra hardware and the extra added power that's going to be packed into the box of this thing. I think that's a good price. I think at
I'm sorry, what's the price? I missed that. I was reading a comment.
$450.
$450. Okay.
I think that's a good sweet spot. I think they would still be losing money, quite a bit of money for what they promise is going to be in this thing, but I think that's very competitive with the PS4 Pro. And of course, it'll destroy the PS4 Pro as far as the potential power, what they're able to do with third-party games. So, Xbox Infinity, mid-November, $450. Gary, what do you think?
Damn.
So, I think that it's going to be called the Xbox One X. Now, the reason
I like that one too, because that could be Xbox 10.
It could.
This is insane.
The Xbox,
I didn't know we were at 10 Xboxes. Unbelievable.
I don't think that the Xbox One will exist anymore once it comes out. I think they'll pull a Sony and say it's now the Slim or the X. So you're going to have the Xbox One S or the X, which is, the Slim or the
So
Pro.
it'll be called Xbox X or Xbox One X?
Xbox One X.
Okay.
So the Xbox One S or X, and that's the two models that you've got there. I agree with you, Briar. I think we're going to see a 500 gigabyte hard drive, and the reason for that is that all of these consoles are now compatible with external HDDs, and people, console manufacturers are now comfortable with the fact that people can get a 2 terabyte hard drive very, very cheaply, slap it in, have all their games on. There's no reason to pack in a 2.5 inch, effectively laptop hard drive, which is what they're doing in there, which are expensive to do in the first place and pump up the initial purchase price. So I think we're going to see $399. And another reason that I think we're going to see that is it's going to put pressure on Sony for the mistake that was the PS4 Pro. And I wanted to get that point out there that I'd said it earlier in the week, basically. And I know you're a pony, but in my opinion, I think the PS4 Pro is the only mistake that Sony's made this generation. And the reason for that is that with the Slim, Sony would have put a huge price gulf between them and the Scorpio. Sony didn't need the Pro. They already had the market. They already had all the game franchises, and they had the consumers. So Microsoft can have all the hardware. They can let Microsoft play a hardware game all they want, but Microsoft don't have any of the IPs and games that people want. So, I don't know. I think it makes it a more compelling proposition to say PS4 Slim, $249, or Xbox, Scorpio at $450 or whatever it is. But I think Microsoft, to put pressure, are going to do $399. And
that'd be amazing if they do, man. That's going to be shit storm, sparks flying, Gary. Good point.
September 1st, and the reason I think they're going to do that,
really,
so I think they're going to bring it early rather than later, partly because I think they want to get out there before Destiny and any of the other big September launches. Now, Call of Duty might be later in the year, but if you don't have exclusive content, at least maybe you can throw the best possible hardware at these big games that launch. So I think they're going to look at September.
Wow. I really like your ideas here. I like getting it out early. That sounds like a hot idea, because you also then have all of those holiday releases going all the way through are selling your console that's actually out, as opposed to everybody just waiting for it to come out in November.
Yeah, because people are going to buy it on the
I like all of Gary's answers. I feel like I want to retract mine and just slide into his pocket.
I do want to. I just want to address one of the comments. DC147 says that Xbox One X is the most sensible name he's heard so far. Well, clearly you don't understand how Microsoft names stuff then.
Yeah.
If you think sensible has something to do with it.
Probably.
Where was 360 from? That was just madness.
Xbox.
You guys remember the joke too when Xbox One came out? They said it's called Xbox One because Microsoft took 359 steps back with all that online stuff. Yeah, with the DRM and all that. I remember that.
Robbie, what are your predictions here?
All right, so just like Beastly, I also, for some reason, guessed it would be called Xbox Infinity, basically for the same reasons. Yep. I do think unfortunately, it will cost $4.99.
$4.99.
I just see it with the power, and all that, and I think it will come with a 1 terabyte hard drive, probably to be released in late October. I just feel like they'll have a first-party game that they'll launch on the same day as it, so I see late October as a release date for $4.99.
I think if they release a console at $4.99, it's doomed.
Yeah, it's murder.
It's dead.
It'll be a tough sell, but that's just what I feel like in my gut. Whether I want it or not, I feel like they're going to do it just because knowing how powerful that thing is.
I know I'll buy it.
Of course, we'd have to.
I buy everything. And Gary will sell me if I don't buy it.
Yeah,
right. He'll make you buy one.
But the thing is, Robbie, you got to put yourself in the position of Microsoft. They're releasing a new console. They're far behind this generation. They've got to find a way to make it more attractive than the competition. The PS4 Pro is $400.
You never know, right?
They're going to take a loss either way. So why not just take the big loss, make this thing more attractive to consumers? If you got the Scorpio the same price as the PS4 Pro, who's going to buy a PS4 Pro? Would you? I mean, only people who want exclusives only would buy it.
My only caveat to that point would be that Microsoft have targeted core publications to sell this. So they've gone to people like Digital Foundry, obviously Eurogamer. They've not gone to mass market, and that Phil's comments around this has been, this is a machine for enthusiasts. This isn't trying to be their mass market machine. I don't know if they're going to. I hope that it's going to be $399, but I don't know.
Those same enthusiasts, though, right? Those same enthusiasts, they know that the PC is there, right? And even though they've grown up, maybe they've been Microsoft fanboys this whole time. You put something out there for $500, and you see that you could build a pretty decent PC for $500 to $700. Yeah. That's a tough sell, in my opinion. Especially if you already have an Xbox One. That's a real tough
hard sell.
I think it's a different proposition. We've been caught up on the PC versus Scorpio power for power argument for a long time, but it's been evidence that the Scorpio, the teraflops that it's got, they can do a lot more with the compute power than they can with an equivalent PC. It's delivering, whether it's 4K, as they say, or true 4K. It's a different proposition to a PC that's a 4K PC.
It's a different proposition, and it's one that nets you more games, and you don't actually lose anything. Because if you already are an Xbox One gamer, right, you have an Xbox One, and you're looking, maybe I want to spend $500 on an Xbox Scorpio, but for about the same amount of money, maybe more, maybe $600, maybe $700, I can get PC, get most of the first-party games through this Play, Anywhere program that Microsoft is doing, and get access to everything, all that shit that I laugh hysterically to when my favorite YouTuber plays on Steam. That's I think it's a tough sell at $500. I really do, even to enthusiasts.
Yeah, that's just my gut feeling, though.
Yeah,
so.
I hear you.
All right, so moving on, Robbie, what is the next category?
All right, so one thing I'm wondering is, what do they open this conference with? What do you guys think they could open it with? Whether it's a game, or do you think Scorpio will be right off the bat? What do you guys think?
I don't think that Microsoft will open with the Scorpio. I think they're going to open with something like their new pirate game. What is it?
Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves. They're going to show a video game. I think they want to close with something big, which is the Xbox Scorpio, in my opinion. I would want to go out with a bang. They know they're going to be a day before Sony's conference, and they need to go out with something memorable. If they come out first with the Scorpio and then make misses after the Scorpio and games that people aren't excited about, that's what people are going to remember the most.
I disagree.
Let me hear your thoughts.
Completely. The reason that I disagree with that is that if you go out with the Scorpio first, then every single game you show can be Scorpio footage. You can't show the footage first and then release the console. If you want to show 4K footage or show it plays best on Scorpio, you've got to show the console first. If not, you've just teased the reveal.
I agree with Gary here. I imagine them opening up. I imagine them opens up their press conference with a game trailer of a new game that we've never seen before. Yep. And at the end, it says whatever their branding is going to be for enhanced on Xbox Scorpio, because I'm sure they'll have like some specific branding. At the end of that, it'll be there, and then they go ahead and announce like the first words out of their mouth, is going ahead and announcing the Scorpio, and then the rest of the conferences show in the software that's going to be playable on the Scorpio.
Totally agree there, Gary. You completely did the Jedi thing on me again. It just makes sense, buddy.
Yeah, and I wonder I don't even know if Scorpio would be like the single first thing we see, like right away before even a game announcement. I feel like it probably would be a game first.
Yeah, they do the game.
Well,
and then at the end of the game, it shows like, whatever the Scorpio branding is going to be.
I think they discussed Scorpio right off the start, though. Definitely, like they get all the details. Here's the price. Here's the name. Here's when it's coming out.
Like,
I think,
it's kind of like a double whammy or a triple whammy type of experience, Brian. Because if you show a game that, of course, is not being played on a PS4 powered console that looks incredible, it's running smooth. You're like, oh my god, what is this? Oh, this is the new KOTOR or something insane, right? And then after that, they say only playable or enhanced on the Xbox. Pause. The new name of the console, boom, that's a second hit. And then somebody comes out, Andrew House type with hands and starts talking about the new Xbox, whatever they call it. That's a triple win. Super exciting.
What if they sandwich the entire press conference on the release of the Scorpio? So like you guys have said, you go out and you drop that great footage and you say enhanced by Scorpio. And then you continue to show great stuff that's enhanced by it all the way through game. People go, whoa, what's this thing? Oh, it's amazing. It looks great. And as you get to the end, once you've closed off, just before the last big hit game, that's when you do your how much it costs, all the details, when's it coming out, and then you close off with your big hitter, whatever your final game's going to be.
6.
It's not going to be there.
Yeah,
well,
definitely not going to be there.
It's out. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah. That just broke the other day in the news that it's not going to be there.
That's bad news for Microsoft.
But Microsoft have said that there's going to be a ton of new and returning IP, so I was racking my head as to what it could be. I know we've said Fable, but Fable could have a reboot. Gears 5 could easily be teased. Something like an Age of Empires or Age of Mythology
I think that's
reboot.
Way too soon. Gears 5.
Perfect Dark, GoldenEye, any of the old Rare games that they had, they could be coming through. There's a lot of things that they could pull.
There's still a Rare.
Rare Replay was on the Xbox One, which was
Rare.
A load of
And another thing, Gary, if they come out and show all these amazing games they're playing on the Xbox Scorpio, at the end of the conference, before they announce the price, they could also have a little bit of information on the screen saying they're all playable on the Xbox One. So people see these amazing games, they might look better on the Scorpio, and it makes people feel included. Nobody's kind of left behind who has the Xbox One as well. So
the other way I could see this going, too, is if the first 5 minutes of the press conference is all about, here's how good the Xbox brand has been doing. The Xbox One S has been selling like gangbusters. People love the Blu-ray. People love the redesign. All these games that have come out, in the last year, and these games that are coming out this year, and then going, building on the brand, building on the strength of the Xbox One. Then they move over to Scorpio. I could see them doing that too.
It's difficult as well, which they've learned from Sony, to show 4K footage at E3.
It's
very, very difficult.
I wouldn't even really try. So bad.
I know that Phil has spoken about the capability to enhance original games. So maybe we see a lot of 60 frames per second versions of big Xbox hits. Things on there which are trying to sell it there. I don't know. I mean, I just don't know how you're going to show a 4K machine.
Microsoft needs to show games. That's their thing, man. Like, everybody's looking forward to seeing the new console, but they gotta show games. They gotta show
to have that software.
That over the last 2 years, since Phil Spencer's been in charge, that they have been building first and second party, connections and getting those games built, and they're coming out either this year or next year. Like, they've got to show a lot of games, and they've got to be exclusives.
Yeah, completely agree.
All right, so that's our thoughts on the Xbox conference, or at least what they're going to start and end with. Robbie, what's the next category?
Well, we've covered Xbox Scorpio, and if you guys have any other sort of predictions for that specific conference, we can go. I have one I'd like to talk about, because I think a AAA original IP will be announced, built from the ground up for Scorpio in mind. No release date will be given. It will be a third-person action title that could fill the void of Scalebound. And I also think that's how they will close the conference.
You think so? It's going to be a new IP that they close on?
Brand new. Yeah, it'll be. I think it'll fill that void that Scalebound had. I think it will be sort of a third-person action IP. I don't know who from, but I think they're going to have
Beats branding is coming back. They're just moving it to a different game.
I don't know, Robbie. That seems like it's a scary proposition to start, or at least having this kind of conference after all the talk from Phil Spencer and the Xbox team about every Xbox game working on the Scorpio and really no exclusive titles. I think that personally it'd be a smarter move for them to announce something like that later on in the Scorpio's life cycle. But my thoughts, something that I think that we could possibly see at E3 2017 is the Xbox Scorpio VR announcement. We know that this console is going to be capable of running VR. It's probably not going to be proprietary hardware, but it possibly could. Who knows? Sony has their own. They have their own as well. We know that Xbox has been working very close with the Oculus Rift. Their Xbox One
Acer,
controller.
They've also been working with Acer.
And I'm going to say on that what Briar's. I actually think we're not going to see VR for the Scorpio whatsoever.
Ooh.
And the reason that I don't think we're going to see it is this week there was a conference that Microsoft attended, and they released their entire strategy for augmented reality and mixed reality for the next year, and all the headsets that they're bringing out, and how it's much more affordable hardware, and they see that that is where the market is moving, at least populous market. It's a lot easier to deliver. It's a lot more accessible. It's something that people can see and feel because it's done in a real world environment. There's a lot less kit and hardware. You don't need its sensors everywhere. Augmented reality or mixed reality, I think, could be the selling point and the uniqueness that they try to push out with the Scorpio. So I think we're not going to see VR. I think we're going to see AR.
Really?
So you think we're going to see a
MR.
step back on it? Okay. I mean, it's
I'd
very,
be
very
surprised.
possible.
I'd be surprised about that. I mean, they've shown off new like motion controllers that they're working in conjunction with Acer. That's maybe PC, it may be Xbox. They see the success of Sony VR. Sony VR is selling like hotcakes. I wouldn't be surprised to see Xbox at least have a solution for VR in the works. Like they'll talk about something for VR.
Yeah,
maybe it is
like
AR. Maybe it is AR, but they're going to have something either AR or VR associated with the Scorpio.
Okay.
All right, Robbie, what do we got next?
Yeah. So another prediction I think will happen at Microsoft's conference, just because I have this feeling, is that Gearbox Software, a developer I really like, and I know that they've been working on Borderlands 3 for a long time. I think it's going to be announced at this conference, and I think we're going to get a 2018 release date, because they've said
we're just
Borderlands
going through
3
every prediction now, or not Microsoft anymore.
No, by conference. This is just what I think is going to happen at Microsoft's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a great possibility. I'd love to see that. I thought, so are we going on to the Sony conference?
Well, do you guys have other predictions for Microsoft? If you do, we're kind of going.
I feel like I've talked Microsoft off.
Yeah, I think we just ended Microsoft with the VR pronouncement. Would you guys like to move on to the Sony?
Yeah, for sure.
Sure.
We'll go Sony, and then we'll go Nintendo, and then we'll move on to third party. So for Sony's conference, my first prediction is that Sucker Punch's new IP will be announced, and it will be called the Sentinel, just based on, because they had a trademark they filed a long time ago for a game. It's still never been used. I think that's what it'll be called. It will not be an open world game like the Infamous series, but it will be a third-person action game set in a dystopian future controlled by cybernetic humans. No release will be announced, and this will open the conference.
Wow.
I know it's a lot, but I just totally speculated like crazy on that one.
That was 100% speculation. It was awesome.
Yeah.
You know, you said it with conviction. That's what matters the most.
Hell yeah.
So, Briar, Gary, what are you guys' thoughts? What do you guys think you'll see at the Sony conference?
I think we're going to see Destiny 2.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He had to say it first.
I mean, generically, I think we're going to see a small amount of time devoted to the Pro, and that's to define what the hell it is and what's it meant to do, because I think they missed the first swing at that completely. I've already said I think the Pro was a misstep in the first place, and I think they need to do damage control at this E3, especially with the Scorpio being at the same conference. So I think there needs to be, I don't know what that message is. I don't know how they solve that, but there needs to be some sort of damage control on the Pro to define it. And then I think we're going to see the same thing Sony have done year on year for the past 3 or 4 years, which is just games.
Knock them out.
They do that, and they have so much success with it because you you're done with that conference and you feel bewildered by everything you saw. You know, like it's just you feel like you have vertigo or something. Like very effective way of doing it. You know.
Yeah.
So I've got a theory on how I think Sony might address the PS4 Pro debacle and try to differentiate.
You think it's a debacle?
Themselves.
A debacle?
I think it is. I'm going to say debacle.
Debacle.
I mean, I'm an owner of the Pro, and I'm going to be honest with you, I couldn't care less. It's under my desk.
Do you have it hooked up to a 4K TV?
I've got it on a 4K monitor. It doesn't look as good as 4K PC. It doesn't look much better
than not near the power of a 1080.
And it doesn't look much better than 1080p games. If I'm honest with you, if you took it away and gave me a slim under there and hid it away and didn't tell me, I probably wouldn't tell the difference. I don't know. To me, it's just not the generational leap that I thought it was going to be. And I think that the way that they can potentially differentiate themselves, and this is going to sound a little bit biased, is potentially look at a Vita hardware refresh. Now, hear me out on this one. The reason that I think this would happen, not a Vita 2.
You're so crazy for thinking that.
Is true, right? Not a Vita 2, but Sony are still imposing on every developer that brings a game out on the PS4 that it has to be remote play compatible. They're asking developers to invest time and resource into remote play compatibility, and they're killing remote play as a platform. You can now remote play your PlayStation 4 on a PC or a tablet or a small phone. What's the use? I'm not going to get up from my PlayStation, move to my PC. That's not remote play. That's not play anywhere. That's just moving from one part of the room to another room in the house. I'm not going to play it on a tablet. There's no real use there. The Vita was a remote play machine, but it was let down by a couple of factors, one being the storage space on it and two being the lack of physical buttons. My thing here is that we're going to see, now that it's got a strong library of games and remote play is something that Microsoft don't have, we're going to see a Vita refresh with R2, L2 buttons and clickable sticks, maybe a modified body, an SD card slot in there, which is just, the Vita, the definitive Vita. Nintendo have been refreshing their hardware year on year and reselling it to us. I love
this idea. Oh,
I think the difference between Nintendo refreshing their hardware and the Vita getting a refresh is that Nintendo sells 3DSs like they're fucking candy at a fat kid convention. This is like the Vita.
You got a good point, bro.
The Vita is the vegetables at the same convention. It's just like nobody wants this fucking thing.
But could that be because Vita was sold as a proprietary piece of hardware rather than a complementary accessory? For this is, you get access to the Vita library.
I mean, they sold it even in the early marketing. They showed it being used as like a rear view mirror in a driving game, or they showed it using the remote play feature right off the bat. They marketed it as part of that, but functionally, I don't feel like it really worked well for that. The remote play. Maybe on your Wi-Fi network it works great. For me, it's pretty iffy unless I'm like really close.
That's interesting because I have no issues with that myself, even on long distance. I
have a pretty good router, but I have a large house too. So my PS4 is wired to the router. Depending on where I am in the house, the Vita remote play the Vita remote play just doesn't work that well. It's very laggy and it's dropping frames everywhere.
That's interesting.
It's kind of subjective, right? I mean, I tried it last week quite a bit in the house, and I had pretty good success with it. Actually, I took it to work last week and was playing my PS4 from there, and it was really shitty. So, I mean, I guess it all depends on how you're playing it. Here in the house, my house is pretty big. I haven't had too many issues doing it. But that's the issue with it. If I'm at home and I'm sitting in a house and I got 10 TVs and I'm on my Vita playing my PS4, I'm like, what's the point in doing this? I'm just going to play here because if I take it to work, it's not really going to work too well.
Yeah. And if I lived in my old house, which was much smaller, and I had a tri-band router, a $500 Wi-Fi router, like in the middle of the house, I bet it works great. But in the current house, like there are other considerations besides how good my Wi-Fi is. One of those is my wife's definition of aesthetics, and that Wi-Fi router just can't be, right in the middle of where it would work the best. It just can't be there.
It's just that was my only thought that they're going to do something different, because Microsoft have got Smart Glass, which is not remote play, and the Switch is true remote play. You know, that is really take it anywhere. And Sony have got a kind of halfway house that they're just not supporting at the moment in the way that they could, which is odd, because the software, they're still forcing developers to support it, but just not having the hardware there to do so. So
I would love for that to happen, Gary. I would love to see a new iteration of the Vita, or new hardware moving in that direction, or at least the next generation of it. Vita is what, 7 years old? It's really old. It's been out for a long time, and it still works with modern technology, and it still seems to be a modern.
Good. Like the games on it still look good. You know,
I mean, I would love to see it. I just feel like in order for Sony to have, at least to precipitate that idea, the Vita needed to be more of a success, and I just feel like it didn't reach the level of success that Sony usually grants. We're going to do more for it. I feel like it kind of failed in the eyes of Sony, and that's my thoughts. I mean, I would love to see a new Vita, but I feel like the console in general didn't do well enough for Sony to reward it by creating more, especially with the misstep in the way that they marketed the system.
Yeah, the way Robbie set up the list for the show was the top 5 things we hope to see happen, and the top 5 things we think we'll see happen. I wonder, Gary, where is this in your list? Is it something you hope we'll see happen, or is it something you actually think we'll see happen?
Yeah, is this really going to happen?
So this is a hope. It's not a wild card prediction, though, because I feel like it's, if you had to put money on it, I'd say there's probably like a 30 to 40% chance of this happening. I don't think it's a surefire thing, but I do think that there is still a chance of it, because it's something that Sony has as a unique selling point that they're not exploiting, that Microsoft couldn't contest. So it's something that I think that they could have. The PS4 Pro is going to be overshadowed by the Scorpio. What are you going to do aside from software to show that PlayStation is still a strong brand for every gamer? So that was.
So, Briar, you just mentioned something interesting, because Robbie completely flipped on the way that he created this document.
It's been very hard to follow along so far.
Yes,
I'm sorry. I knew this would happen, to be honest.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, look, let's start. I got a few things written down, the stuff that I would like to see, not the stuff that I think we will.
Let's go through that stuff.
All right. So
the hopeful future. We don't necessarily believe this is going to happen, right?
We
really, really like to see it happen. Let's do that one.
So, okay, my very first one was the Xbox Scorpio price at $450. I've heard a lot of people say $500.
That's your hope. That's not what you believe. Yeah,
that's my hope. And it's a very tangible reality. I got 5 kids. I can't spend more than that on another system. That was my first hope. I'm thinking more realistically that it's probably going to be $500, just based on the hardware that's inside the box, and pundits and people who know more about PCs and GPUs and CPUs than I do. The stuff that's been said out in the world about what's in this thing. Another thing that I would like to hope to see would be Final Fantasy the remake release date revealed, and a demo released at E3. Now. Chances are this probably won't happen, or at least one of them won't happen. I think we're going to get some news about Final Fantasy the remake at E3 this year, but the possibility of getting a demo that would make the entire world lose their mind. If they said, well, the demo to this game is available now, that would just, I'd lose it. My third, because Robbie asked for 5 and he completely went off on a tangent, was The Last of Us 2 release date. To me, this is very possible because Naughty Dog, they know usually how long it takes them to
When did we see The Last of Us, that trailer? The Last of Us 2 trailer?
Last E3.
That was E3? Okay.
Yeah, so it's been a little while. I mean,
yeah, it's definitely time to hear news about that.
I'd love to hear a release date and see some potential, maybe a vertical slice of some gameplay footage and maybe some new things they've added to the gameplay mechanic. I know it's going to look incredible. I can't wait to see what Neil Druckmann and Bruce Straley are doing with this game. And I think we're going to see something at E3. At least, let me just say this real quick. E3 is not one on real news. It's not one on real games. Final Fantasy VII, the remake is not out. Shenmue 3 is not out. The games that helped Sony win E3 of 2015 are not out. But they won E3 of 2015 just based on putting this news out. So
I think Sony are going to get called on that pretty soon, though. Because there's been a lot more realization on the fact that Sony are doing
Scalebound was a big Xbox game, got canceled. E3 is not really one on the games that come out in the future. Just one on what you show the consumer. Whoever gets the consumer the most excited is going to win E3. So theoretically, they can continue on with these lies and just make everybody excited, and in the end, piss everybody off. But that's another video I'm coming up with. I'm actually working on now how E3 has just been, a lot of it's been about lies over the last couple of years. And my last two for my
before you do your last two, why don't we try and organize this a little bit? And
I was going to do one at a time, but you kind of just...
couple other people, and we'll come back to you. Gary, you got any hopes? What do you hope? You don't necessarily think this is going to happen, but you hope it's going to happen.
New hope. We need the new hope.
Well, we've covered a couple of them there myself, around the Vita hardware refresh and Microsoft returning some or resurrecting some IPs. The thing that I guess the hope that I've got for Nintendo is that they announce some big hitting third-party Ninty games that we haven't seen.
Yes.
So things like Monster Hunter, Animal Crossing, Pokemon, or embracing the JRPG heritage. So
PUBG, we could get some murder on the go.
Not quite that way. I don't
like
really
how you
murder.
think.
I don't really want murder on my Nintendo hardware.
I want murder on the go. Absolutely.
I would love that.
You can take that out of context any way you want, but
if you look at the Briar and Beasley, have you made Japanese accounts yet on your Switches to look at the Japanese store?
No.
Okay, so I made a Japanese account to have a look at things. I bought Disgaea 5, months ago before it was released. I think it was released about 3 weeks after release in Japan, and the game's in English, so you can play that through. They're actually releasing Secrets of Mana, which is the entire Secrets of Mana series, which the West has been clamoring to get, right the way from the Game Boy Advance through to the SNES through to the Game Boy Advance to some of the more recent titles, as well as a lot of remakes of. I think you're getting Fate Extella out there, so all these quality JRPGs and Japanese action platformers and action beat-em-ups, which we're just not going to see in the West. We don't have them slated as a release date, but they're already coming out this month or are released. So for me, I'd love to see that embraced on the Switch, and use it as a JRPG machine, because to me it is the next evolution of the Vita and something that I would play RPGs on all day long.
Speaking of the Switch, I'd really love to see a new Metroid coming out for the Switch. I'd love to see them announce this year. Like it may not be coming this year, but hey, new Metroid, 2D Metroid coming to the Switch. Maybe 2018. I'd love to see that.
That was in my kind of reaches at the bottom of Robbie's disconjointed list.
You guys are a bunch of jerks, okay? I'm sick and tired of you.
Well, you made us make a list, and then you start randomly picking shit off the list. We don't know where to go. Yeah. We made a list.
You started in the middle of the fucking list.
I guess because we had our personal ones organized differently. That's where it became confusing.
But
Brian, it doesn't matter. We're getting through it.
Very similarly to your idea of a Metroid, I thought that it would be great, but it'd be a reach to see a dark, like a survival horror Metroid game on the Nintendo Switch.
No, I think Nintendo needs to lean. They need to lean into their brand. See, I don't want to see all this, dark survival horror and things. For me, I want to see what makes Nintendo unique. The games that I can't play on a PS4 or Xbox. If I want a survival horror game, I can get them all day long on PC and PlayStation. If I want Animal Crossing or Pikmin, I'm only going to get them on Nintendo.
But that doesn't mean Nintendo can't cater.
Yeah, but if they're going to make a Metroid game, I want it to be this like the Super NES version, but bigger with more, better graphics and new and exciting weapons and abilities. I just want another great 2D version of Metroid. It's one of my favorite gaming memories of all time. Was playing the original Metroid, playing Super Metroid, and I would love to have a Metroid game on the Switch, like old school. I love the Metroid Prime series. Well, the first two anyway. But I still do miss Metroid. I still do miss that series, and I think it would be a big hit if it came out.
I don't disagree. I think it's just personal taste for me. I want a game that I can just get lost in and play casually for hours and hours and hours on end. And for me, Metroid's, it's great, but I think it's one of them short sprint games, and I feel like we get a lot of them, especially things like Shovel Knight and those sorts of games that are coming on the Switch. I want Nintendo to give me some of those AAA, experiences that transport me back to my childhood and playing Animal Crossing, Monster Hunter, Pokemon, that kind of stuff there. But I don't know. I don't think we'll see any of it, if I'm completely honest with you. I think they're going to show Splatoon, ARMS, and Mario Odyssey, and then a lot of other small things.
Another hope I got is that on the big stage of E3 at PlayStation's press conference, they're going to announce a Destiny 2 alpha for the week of E3, like they did with Destiny 1.
That was one of mine too.
God, I would love that, man. That would,
Yeah.
It would be PlayStation exclusive, and that unfortunately would come along with it being announced at that press conference. But goddamn, the hype would be unimaginable for me.
Oh my god, that's one of mine too. I hope.
I think that's going to
happens.
happen, bro. I think it's a great possibility.
I don't know. It's a very different world that Destiny 2 is coming out than Destiny. I mean, Destiny. I feel like the original Destiny had to make a name for itself, where Destiny 2 has made a name, and it's. I don't know if they need to do an alpha.
What about you get an alpha announced exactly like you say, and if you play the alpha, you get a free emblem when the game launches.
As we did in the original.
But the alpha costs $5.
No, they can't do that.
What? No, they can't charge for that.
I'm just saying, what would you say?
Roasted. They just, it's not even a possibility.
What do you guys think are the possibility of us seeing a PS5 10-second just tease? It says PS5 coming soon.
Oh, man.
I don't think the chances are very high, but I did put it on my list of things that I hope to see. That's
on my list. I think it's
it's on your list of hopes, but not think?
No, not the ones I think. These are my hopes. I think it's a great possibility, or at least I would hope it's a possibility, that Sony put something preemptively out there to kind of stifle this fervor that's going to be around the Xbox Scorpio next month. People are going to be rabid for this thing if the reveal goes as Microsoft hopes. And I would think that during Sony's conference a day later, kind of the way they did, at E3 2013, I feel like, Andrew House and the Sony team kind of came out and changed their conference slightly after the missteps that were made by Don Matrick. The backgrounds and everything seemed a little tacky, and this is how you share, and all that stuff seemed like it just came out of nowhere, like it was just a quick moment of reflection. They said, we're going to just go this way. I think if Microsoft, depending on what Microsoft does at their conference, I think Sony could have a quick slide saying the PS5 coming soon or coming in 2018 or 2019. I think it's a possibility.
I think it's 50-50, if I'm being honest. I feel like part of me is like, it would be such a good thing to combat Scorpio. At the same time, though, is it too soon if they post PS5 coming 2018, Like, people would be really upset. Like, I just don't know. I think it's so 50-50.
This is the thing, though, Robbie, right? Everybody complained that the PS3 and the Xbox 360 were, 8-year, 9-year life cycles. What the hell is going on? The recession causes to keep these consoles forever. 5 years. 5 years is not long enough. I know everybody's saying the PS4
No, 5 years
Pro,
is good. Yeah.
Everybody's saying the PS4 Pro just came out, but it's still just a PS4. And as Gary said, some people think it's a misstep. It's still the PS4. It still plays the same games as the PS4. And a 5-year life cycle, to me, I've gotten my money's worth. I played tons of games on this thing.
Yeah,
and I think we see the PS5 as a shit-the-bed emergency slide. Like you say, I think that they've got that one slide there. If they look like they need something, they need ammunition, they've been, balls to the wall, completely destroyed by Microsoft, then we see PS5 2019 to reassure people that it's coming. No way are you going to see 2018.
You think they would even announce
bad idea
now?
To do that? You put something like that far out, and you are telling consumers don't spend money on a PS4 now.
Why would they
Save
even
your
talk
money
about
for
it
that
if it's
PS5.
2019? No.
See, I think 2019.
You just put a fucking master lock right on everybody's wallets. And that shit ain't open until that thing comes out.
I think you do if it's 2018,
point,
but I think if it's 2019, you give people that grace period.
I think if it's 2019, they don't mention it at all. If it's 2018, it will be announced. If it's 2019, absolutely not.
I think it's stupid for them to announce it now if it's 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's a risky step. It's your only way to pour some water on the Scorpio. But then
the way you pour water on the Scorpio is by showing all the fucking awesome games that you've got on the PS4 that aren't coming to the Xbox Scorpio.
You got a good point there.
Yeah, they got a really nice $500 piece of hardware over there, but look at all the fun you can be having with this. Cause
you got a good point, man. This is my last little, I guess you would call it a prediction on things that I would like to see, and it's not stuff I think we're likely to see. But Amy Hennig's new Star Wars game.
Oh
Yes.
I hope
that is
so.
on my hope
Oh
list
God.
as well. Is a new,
Please.
a new Star Wars game that's not
Visceral Star Wars
Fields.
game.
Battlefront.
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 There's so many battle fucking games now.
Let me ask you a question, Briar. We've heard recent announcements or pronouncements of the KOTOR series coming back to the world of gaming at some time in the future. What if Amy Hennig's game was the new Knights of the Old Republic?
I'd be amazed. It'd be amazing.
To me, that's
I don't
the
think it's
kind
gonna
of
be.
game
I think
that
it's gonna be a new.
her mind is really suited for. I think that would be amazing. And all the old school fans of the Xbox game will just come flocking. Amy Hennig is, a mastermind and a legend when it comes to creating.
Who owns that KOTOR license? Because they have a KOTOR game. Knights of the Old Republic is an MMORPG right now, right?
Yeah,
It's on iOS as well, isn't it?
yeah, it's on iOS and Xbox.
So who owns that IP right now? The KOTOR IP.
Is it? It's BioWare.
Oh no, it's not an MMO. That's the New Republic. That's not
That's
the
New
Knights of the Old
Republic?
Republic. Yeah, it's a
okay.
different game. It's set in a similar period, but it's not Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care what it's called. I'm looking forward to it. Anytime you put Star Wars together with somebody that is known for doing quality content, I'm going to be a happy
Uncharted.
camper.
Visceral. I loved Dead Space so much, and I think this is just going to be a killer game. I think it will be announced too. That was one of my predictions for EA. I think they'll announce it. I think it'll open too.
I've got a couple more, I guess, more wild card predictions that I think that I wrote down that I think we might see, but it would be very unlikely. One being that Nintendo announced full backward compatibility with the Wii U store for the Switch. That would be fantastic.
That would be nice.
And the reason that I think you could see that is that we've seen Wii U games obviously playing on the Switch. But whether or not you'd see them as a, hey, just go and buy them now yourself, or whether they drip feed them one game at a time, I don't know. Either way, they're still making the purchase money. So, I don't know what we'd see.
Related to that, I have under my wild cards that we get a Nintendo Virtual Console launch.
That's what we need. Oh,
Day and date, you think, with the conference?
I mean, to at least say it's coming within the next month or so. Like it's like to actually firmly
100% they will talk
get it
about
out
it.
there.
What's going to be on it, though? Is it just going to be GameCube and SNES?
I think it'll be.
Okay.
I think it'll be all of that stuff. Yeah, I think it'll be the Virtual Console that we're used to seeing on the other consoles.
Let me ask you guys a quick question, okay? I was thinking, what could Microsoft do to really screw Sony over at this E3 press conference? Do you guys think it's possible?
They could show off all of the games that they've been for the last 2 years. They've been just concentrating on building up first parties, rebuilding first parties, getting second parties going, getting exclusive titles with third parties. They could show off. They could do a Sony press conference where they go game, 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 game. They could do that, and that combined with new hardware at a reasonable price, it'd be hard for Sony to compete with that.
If we look at, if the past is any indication, the Xbox 360 Slim, the PS3 Slim, these consoles ended up at a $199 price point.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's possible that we could see another price drop of the Xbox One S?
It's possible.
What's the price on it now?
Yeah.
It's $249. I mean, it's very reasonable, and it's very competitive with the PS4 Slim. If they were to do a price drop to bring it more in line with what we've seen in the past of slim versions of consoles, bringing it more in line with the $199, $219 price point, that could really put a hurting on the PlayStation 4 brand at this point. And that's something I was thinking about. What if they announced the Scorpio at a really reasonable price of $399 to $450, but at the same time announced the Xbox One S is now $199 or $219 if they want to, get the last couple of dollars out of it.
$50 make a difference for that?
Hell yeah, it makes. What kind of question is that?
It's still the
so.
cheapest 4K Blu-ray player on the market, isn't it? Or one
it
of the
right now?
cheapest.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It still is. Yeah.
And if you got it at $199, that's a very, very cheap 4K Blu-ray player. If you lean into that, with 4K being,
But
I
it's
guess,
got Windows 8 on it, huh?
Say what?
That's too bad it's got Windows 8 on it.
God damn it, Briar.
I think there's been a dashboard refresh on it. I think it's a lot more responsive. But no, I mean, with the 4K Blu-ray player in it, if they could get it out at $199, then you doing a PS3 there, you're selling it to people that don't really game, that
They
just
just
buy
want
it.
the 4K Blu-ray. You're absolutely right. You're
Yeah.
so right.
I don't know how much money Microsoft actually makes off of selling consoles. And if they got to take a loss, do that, and that's why people are buying it, that means they're not going to get that on add-on sales for software.
Well, once it's in the home, you'd be likely to pick up an Xbox game more than anything else.
You definitely would. Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. We got kind of mixed up in our order here. There's another game that I had in my Xbox conference that I didn't mention because I was scanning back and forth to try to keep up with the convoluted.
Well, let's finish the wild cards before we get onto that.
Well, this is going back to what we already did. So just a quick mention. I think that we could possibly see Ori and the Blind Forest 2. That's it.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Ooh, that would be cool.
So my last wild card, which is probably a quick one, is for Sony. And this is kind of a Vita successor, but this is a true
oh god, here we go again.
competitor. This is a Switch competitor, and the reason that I've drawn on this is that Sony did put out a patent for a handheld device that looked like a DualShock 4 that's been split in half with a screen on it.
Oh,
And that patent came out. That was about 6 months ago, and that to me, people thought that was going to get announced with the PS4 Pro. So they thought it was going to be the Pro and the portable. So my theory on this is that we're going to see something called the PlayStation Echo. Echo being, replicating what you see on the screen and in your device. I think we're going to see something that is a Vita successor in the sense that it's a handheld. It's going to have backward compatibility with their existing Vita library because, no one played those games, as you say, in the West. They just weren't played. But I think it's going to lean into the fact that you can dock it and use an HDMI out or whatever to play it on the TV. So I think they're going to just take the remote play aspect and then also add the Switch capability into it, because it feels to me like that patent was logged for a reason, and it's something that they don't have any competition for at the moment. No one can compete with the Switch.
Let me clarify something, Gary. I'm not Robbie. I 100% in my heart want you to be 100% right. I wish you worked at Sony. I've had tons of fun with my portable consoles over the years. I saw the patent that you're talking about. It does look very similar to the Switch, and God damn it, it's like a dream come true. I don't think Sony's done with portables. I really don't. It's something they've done since they've had the PlayStation brand. Mm-hmm. I just feel like over the last year or so, we haven't really heard much other than that patent. It would be amazing. It's kind of a reach, but I would 100% be in on that.
They've stolen from Nintendo before. So as soon as we saw the Wii controllers doing successfully, the Move controllers came out, which were the same technology, just with little glowing balls on top. So there's been direct replication of something that was a successful idea. So I don't know whether or not we're going to see it again. A lot of people are playing the Switch and saying how innovative and unique it is as a piece of hardware. I just don't know. It might be the time now. It might not be.
I got a few predictions pertaining to overall themes, and this might not be something you see on stage at the conferences, but more like, other things that you might see, featured articles or smaller booths at E3. And I'm expecting to see more games incorporating VR, kind of like the way Resident Evil 7 did it, where they build a game that's playable and it's a real video game, and it also has VR, right? So you can play it on a monitor or a TV, or you can also play it in VR. And the reason I think we'll see this is because I think Resident Evil 7 saw a huge boost to sales because of this on the PlayStation, right? Is people who weren't necessarily into Resident Evil or horror games were into buying this because they wanted a VR experience, and this was a very good one. I don't think that it costs a whole lot of extra development to get that VR going. It's basically just the game is already there. You just have to design another user interface for that game, right? So I could imagine seeing more of that, especially on the PlayStation where the VR headset has sold so well. I expect to see more Destiny and Division type of games. Activision is very bullish on Destiny right now because of player engagement. And player engagement makes a lot of money. You can sell a lot of content. You can sell a lot of DLC. You can sell a lot of microtransactions in these games that engage players for a very long time. And there's very few of these games now. I think Destiny, and to a smaller extent the Division, has shown that if you build a game that can engage players for a very long time, it's not just an 8-hour experience, or it's not just a multiplayer component of a game like Call of Duty, that you can actually make quite a bit of money after the initial sale of the game. So I would imagine seeing more games, not necessarily knockoffs of Destiny, but more games that incorporate other aspects of MMOs and role-playing games into more popular genres like shooters or third-person action.
So, Brian, on your first point with respect to VR being incorporated more into existing titles, there's been a lot of talk about potentially Bethesda showcasing or wanting to showcase Fallout 4 VR at this conference, whether it's Oculus. I think they're developing it for the Vive at the moment, but that's just their primary development platform. Do you think we potentially see, as maybe a way to ramp up the Scorpio, do you think we see Fallout 4 VR being a launch title for the Scorpio VR?
It'd be cool if they have a VR solution. If Xbox has a VR solution, which I think is very possible, it's not out of the question. Then I mean, it'd be great. It'd be a great get for Microsoft, right? Because PlayStation VR already has this installed base, and they've definitely got developers working on VR games. But if Microsoft comes out with a $500 or $600 console and then a headset that costs $300 or $400 on top of that, they're going to have big names that you can only do there. So that would be really cool.
I'm thinking Fallout's the type of title that could shift enough units, because that's a 100-hour game, that you could get lost in effectively.
And the Xbox is the lead console for that game too. So yeah, that's very reasonable to speculate on that. Awesome.
One more prediction, like an overall, like kind of trending kind of thing, is I expect to see more King of the Hill or survival games made by bigger companies coming to consoles specifically. Things like PUBG getting a console deal, but also like bigger brands. They're seeing the success that H1Z1's had on Twitch, that PUBG is currently having on Twitch. These bigger development houses are going to want a piece of that, I believe, and I wouldn't be surprised. You saw The Division launch their survival DLC, and it was amazing to play a survival type game that had production value. Right? That was a big turnaround for that type of game. So, a game that is developed by a big production house, like that has some money and some backing behind it, but has those survival kind of themes behind it, I think could be very successful. I wouldn't be surprised to see more than one company taking a shot at it.
Yeah, well, that's something I'd like to see, and I think that more than likely you're absolutely right about that, Briar. You got to follow the money. And really, these companies, their job is to make money, and games like The Division and Destiny have raked in quite a bit compared to games that get just money on the front end when they sell a game. So
yeah,
I couldn't imagine them not following that trend or that pattern of creating games in the future. I think you're right. We're going to see more and more games that follow that trend. Awesome.
Anybody got any more wild cards that they haven't mentioned?
I have a big one I want to drop here. This is you guys are going to call me completely crazy for this, but here we go. This is a bold prediction. Half-Life 3 will be officially announced. In development for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. No release time frame or window will be given. A cinematic trailer will be shown, but there will be no gameplay just yet.
Nope.
Valve do not need to make games anymore. They just don't need to make games. They're making too much money.
They actually said they are making games, but they're focusing on VR. They're focusing on VR.
Really?
You guys,
but they were asked about Half-Life 3 as recently as like a couple of months ago and confirmed no.
I know. I just wanted to make a ballsy prediction. That was my ballsy one.
That is a ballsy one.
Yeah. No, dude, I hope it happens.
Especially put it on PlayStation and Xbox One.
I know.
That's straight to Steam, boy.
So it's even more crazy.
Do you guys think that we'll get a release date for God of War?
It's 2018.
Yes. Early next year. Yep.
You guys think we'll see more gameplay or get any more news at E3 this year?
There will be a gameplay demo. Yeah, that was one of my predictions.
I think it's time to put up or shut up here, guys. This is the stuff that you actually... You're putting your name on the line here. What is going to actually happen at E3 this year? You are not fucking around anymore. This is your personal prediction. This is happening at E3. Beast, you want to start us off?
God damn it, sure. Well, PS4 price drop. I mean, PS4 Pro price drop.
You think there's definitely going to be a PS4 Pro price drop?
Yes, I do.
What do you think it's going to go down to?
I think it's going to drop down to $299. I think we might get a revision, Brian.
Really?
So it's $399 now. You think it's going to drop $100?
It's very possible if they announce a Slim. If it's not a Slim, then we're going to see it for
a PS4 Pro Slim.
Yeah, well, that's what they're talking about. Oh. No, it's not. This is fucking Sony we're talking about. You out of your mind? That's just what I think, and I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I think we're going to definitely get details and see gameplay of the Nintendo Switch Skyrim.
Well, let somebody else go. We'll do one at a time here.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Gary, you got one? This is a prediction. Your name is on the line here. This is your analyst phone call right now.
We're all fired. We're all fired.
Investors are listening.
The investors are listening to me saying that Call of Duty World War II is going to lose a significant amount of goodwill and hype as a result.
Really?
Of this show. And the reason I say that is that it released in a vacuum, the news. You show us World War II soldiers in Call of Duty, we're going to get incredibly happy about it. You show me it in the context of all the other announcement at E3, it's just another Call of Duty. There's so much noise on there. So I think that they're going to enter this show on a high. I think they're going to leave this E3 as, Call of Duty looked okay.
All right, I'm going to go next because I've got the exact opposite prediction for Call of Duty World War II. I think they're going to show off the multiplayer and that it's going to be a game changer for the Call of Duty series. They'll have the same 6v6 or 8v8 multiplayer that you're used to, but they're also going to have a much more expanded multiplayer with a ton of new features that you're not used to seeing in Call of Duty. They're going to come out, they're going to show the multiplayer. It's very early for them to be showing multiplayer at E3, but they know that the COD series is on the ropes. They know they need to change it up, and they're going after Battlefield, and they are going hard. And I think they're going to come out of E3 and they're going to be in good shape. So, Gary, we'll see.
Holy shit! Somebody's gonna be wrong.
Right.
Wow,
this will be a fun one. I like
exciting.
it. Robbie, you got one?
Yes. I think it may seem a little early. I think a Bloodborne 2 will be announced, and it will be out early next year.
Bloodborne 2 announced early next year.
So good.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Guarantee it.
Beastly, what's your next one?
I want to say it, but I don't. But part of me wants to say it, so I'm going to goddamn say it. I think we're going to see Horizon Zero Dawn multiplayer DLC.
What?
Horizon Zero Dawn multiplayer DLC.
I don't give a fuck, man. The game is made.
Neither does anybody else. That is the most least interesting prediction I've ever heard.
Why would you want multiplayer DLC for that game? That game is it doesn't need it.
I think it would be awesome, man. I mean, at least we're going to get single player DLC.
Do you even play Horizon? Where did you pull this out of?
Out of my ass, Brian. I just put my underwear back on. Yeah.
Do you know what? I'm going to...
Beastly before the show Googled E3 predictions, and somebody had written Horizon DLC in there.
This is all my shit, goddammit. This ain't nobody's shit but mine. My next one is...
He's gone on one of those E3 predictions generators and just clicked generate.
Yeah, it's like...
Horizon multiplayer.
All right, Gary, what you got?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna put my nuts on the line this one. I'm gonna flip the lad out and just slap it on the desk and say I'm gonna double down on this. I said it was a hope. It's gonna move to a prediction. I think we're gonna see a hardware refresh of the Vita. I'm gonna go for it.
You said it 3 times already. We believe you, Gary. Wow. Gary believes in this shit.
L2, R2, R3, L3. That's it. That's my prediction. It's gonna happen. We're gonna see it.
Hardware refresh of the Vita.
Yeah, so same thing, not a Vita 2, same thing, and that's what the patent was referring to.
All right.
What do you guys think about that prediction? I believe Gary could be right. Gary is really putting his balls on the line there.
It's a lot more likely to me than getting like a new console, like a new. I could see it. I don't expect it, but I could see it. I don't know though. At the same time, I think the Vita hardware is actually really nice. Like the current.
Yes.
The revision of the Vita hardware is very nice. I do miss having clickable thumbsticks and L2, R2, but to launch a redesign, it's risky. I mean, that's a lot of R&D to build that thing, and then to put that thing out there, you want to advertise it.
You make it super cheap. It's just the definitive Vita. You give it micro SD cards, which people have been clamoring for forever, and you sell a crap ton of digital hardware for the Vita, digital software, sorry, for the Vita. And then you define your remote play proposition properly. I think it just makes sense. you get the Vita back in the shell.
I'd love to see it, Gary. I don't think it'll happen.
That's not happening.
You guys will all have my nuts then in 1 month's time.
Gary, you got enough Vitas, Gary. Gary owns enough Vitas, he can build the next version of the Vita with those. So you can make it happen yourself.
Start doing it.
Gary just wrote a letter to Sony. If you build this thing, trust me, I'll make it worth your while.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Robbie, you got another one?
What you got,
Sorry,
Robbie?
what? Okay.
Got another wild card?
PlayStation 5 will be announced. Guaranteed. If it's not, I'll quit the show. This show.
Oh, fuck. It was nice knowing you, Robbie. We love you, man.
Looking for fourth host.
I'm not being serious. Just relax.
All right, look. I'll give you guys a serious prediction, and I will put my balls on the line. My big, hefty, brown balls.
Give them to me.
We're going to see the reveal of Doom 2.
Oh, yes.
Really?
I am so down for this. I think you're wrong because they're doing Quake this year.
Yeah.
The Quake Champions is this year's
I don't think it'll be nearly as popular as Doom was. Doom was
I don't think so either.
incredible.
Absolutely not. Doom was
totally
incredible.
right. Yeah.
But
damn it.
I would love to see it. Maybe they'll do like a little like teaser image though, and then like the date like 2018 or something. That'd be cool. But I think Quake is the target, like targeting that same crowd, and I think they're just going to focus on Quake, and then Doom is next year.
You really think it's the same crowd? I mean, I've never really been into Quake, but I've always loved Doom. We'll see.
Yeah. I think with that said, too, we should shift our focus over to Bethesda, now that we're talking about them, just specifically their conference.
I've got one more prediction before we do.
Let's do it.
And that's just to close it off. It's Nintendo, and this isn't a wild card, this is just a conservative one. I think Nintendo are going to lose E3 intentionally in just a big way. And the reason that I think they're going to do that is that they don't want to show anything in the fighting genre game because it's going to piss all over ARMS. So if they show Smash Bros, ARMS doesn't sell.
Yeah.
If they show anything
that sell regardless.
I think if they double down on it, it might. I think Splatoon 2 as well. If they show any first-person shooters, then Splatoon 2 dies. Mario Odyssey, if they show Super Mario 3D World ported, that dies. So I think they double down on the software they want.
I don't think that's true.
What's with your visions of death?
Well, the reason
death.
The reason that I think that is that Nintendo have an ability that Sony and Microsoft don't, and that's that they can pull a Nintendo Direct Treehouse or a Nintendo Direct whenever they want, and they can have all the attention on that game and have half an hour of you absolutely glued to the screen saying Pokemon's coming or Animal Crossing's coming or something else is coming. They don't need E3. I think we get more information on the stuff that's coming out for the Switch in the next 6 months. Like Briar said, maybe the Virtual Console, but I think we see no big games for Nintendo.
I think Gary's right here. I think that you're going to see them double down on the news of stuff that they've already announced. They'll show more Mario, they'll show more Splatoon, they'll show more ARMS, but to see them announce something brand new, I think they'll wait till later in the year for that.
They don't need E3 and to share the limelight. They've got Nintendo Directs. They can own the news cycle.
One of the viewers in the chat made a great prediction, and I got to agree with it. STF922 said, I predict that Kingdom Hearts 3 will get another delay.
I don't even see that game coming this year, no doubt.
Agreed.
All right. Should we move on to news here?
I wanted to do Bethesda, though.
Okay.
You always want to play with everything, Robbie. God damn it.
We're running out of time.
And happy Mother's Day. Everybody watching, if you got a mother, I'm sure you all do, tell her that the Beastly Thoughts live crew said happy Mother's Day. We hope it's been a great day for her.
Absolutely.
Unless you're in Europe,
we do have a hard time limit, right? Beastly, you got to be out of here at what time?
20 minutes.
20 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, we've got to think. Are we doing the news or what are we doing here?
Let's just keep doing
the hell with the news.
Look,
the
all right,
news
we're going to
is
skip
that
the news this week.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll push it till next week.
Yeah. It's okay. We have a special show this week. So starting off Bethesda, I think that Wolfenstein the New Colossus will be announced, and it will launch this October. A full gameplay demo will be shown, and it will open the conference. I think it's pretty likely.
I'll play another Wolfenstein. The last one was
Sounds
great.
good to me.
Love the last one. I think it's time. I think it'll be this year.
I think that Bethesda will show and give us a projected time frame for release for The Evil Within 2. And this one will actually be a good game.
So, are Bethesda, they're the lead developers on the Skyrim port for the Switch, or is it Nintendo that are owning the development?
No,
so
it's
who's going to
Bethesda Game
showcase it?
Studios.
Bethesda, yeah.
So if Bethesda are owning it, is that something that they lead with? Because that's a big. I know it's an old game, but it's a big thing for them to have it on the Switch. The Switch is a hot property. You
I think it'd be
a Switch game.
huge. That would be huge, Gary. If they
It's
led
like a
with that.
6-year-old game that's been released multiple times.
Well, Robbie,
Nintendo will talk
we don't
about
have
it.
we don't have any details on it. What if they reveal that this thing has new exclusive Nintendo Switch DLC?
That'll
Or
be at the
something-
Nintendo conference. That won't be Bethesda.
I don't
Okay.
think Nintendo care about it that much to do it. I don't mean it disrespectfully. I think that Nintendo have got bigger franchises than Skyrim. I think Skyrim's there to bring a different demographic into the Switch. I don't think Nintendo would market Skyrim in the way that Bethesda would.
Yeah,
I
Miss
think-
Cleo, you don't know everything. I mean, I'm sorry. Brian, you got any thoughts on Bethesda?
Not really.
This is where the
Thanks,
show
Brian.
falls apart, ladies and gentlemen.
Fallout 4 VR. Do we see them going big on their conference, or do we see them leaning into someone else's?
It'll be there. I don't know if
Awesome
it'll
to
be
see.
huge.
I mean, that's a big VR title. It's something that's
It's
not been
big
done
for
before.
VR, but is it big for everybody?
Just for no, it's not.
There's not a huge audience for VR at the moment, so I don't know.
Wild
All right.
card for Bethesda. I'd like to see a Morrowind remake. I had it on the
Ooh.
original Xbox, and it was really awesome. And I would love to see
Wilson
that.
in chat right now would love to see that too.
Or
Really?
Oblivion.
Yeah.
Even Oblivion would make me very happy.
Wilson, you're the fucking man.
Oblivion's 10 years old, too. Like, that would make sense. 11 years old now, actually. I think. Yeah.
My number one prediction before I go, guys, because I got to back out of the show. It's Mother's Day. It's my son's birthday. And I'm not trying to make the wife angry on Mother's Day because the night will
No.
end poorly for me. So, my last prediction, this is my number one prediction. My balls are on the line.
Mhm.
Konami will reveal and show us and give us a release date for Metal Gear Survive, and everybody's going to love it.
Oh, my. Everybody's going to
I know you're trying to be funny, Beastly, but what I find most humorous about tonight's show is how last week you were absolutely bullish about the PS5 being announced and released in announced this time and released in 2018.
Now you're kind of backing off.
This
that.
week, I
Hey, man,
really
I'm not-
feel like you pulled way back on it.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey, hey,
your
look,
balls
Way
kinda
back.
let-
Like
Give
you're
up a little bit.
let me just tell you this, all right? I
Yeah.
still stand by. I still stand by the idea that Sony will do something this conference this year, alluding to the PS5. I think it's very possible that it could come out in 2018. I don't think it's possible in my own mind that it'll come out any later than 2019. So for me, that was in my projected things that I thought were definitely going to happen. The PS5, 10-second
Wait.
kind of tease.
You didn't share it publicly. You're too scared to share it publicly?
No, Robbie fucked us up. He said, we're going to start at the top. He started at the fucking bottom. I was like, what the hell is happening? All right.
What do you mean? What are you saying?
Briar, tell him what I mean, okay?
Everybody else
love it.
kind of took
I
over.
love
All
it.
right, Beastly, we know you got to go. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Peace, fellas. I'll
Bye,
see you
Beasley.
guys
We love
next
you.
week. I love you too, Robbie. Tell your mom I said Happy Mother's Day.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Sounded ominous. No, I like it, man. You're like, right, we're going to have preparation. You've got a week to write it up. You
Here's the
walk
thing.
in
Let me
and
just talk for a
rip it
moment.
up.
We got a
So-
list. We got a list. It starts at the top. It goes to the bottom.
And then
All
it
right,
just
it's time to go
completely-
live.
No one followed it.
All right, I'm going to... What do you mean nobody followed it? You wrote the list. Everybody filled out the list, and then you didn't stick to the list for the show.
I think I was confused about my own list. I didn't. The problem was I had everything written down. We needed to order it.
I think there were
five.
five categories that Robbie sent us. There was the top 5 things we hope to see happen. Then the next one was the top 5 things we think will happen. And then he wanted predictions for each individual conference, which
I think there was overlap too, which
there's a lot of overlap. And then the wild card predictions, which I kind of just put the same shit as I put for I hope would happen.
That's the problem. There's too much. I think I needed to create.
And then we had the
Categories
Xbox
wouldn't
Scorpio
overlap.
name, price, and release date, and then the games that will open and close each conference. And then,
Yeah.
Robbie, the question you led with was, I believe, what would Microsoft open the conference with, and how much would the Xbox Scorpio retail for? Like, we're like,
'Cause that's one of the biggest things.
right.
Talking about games to open and close then, seeing as we're on it. to get us back on some track. Did you guys
See,
put down
here's the problem,
a
because a
Sony
lot of these were supposed to be integrated together, and no one did that except me. Like, you know what I mean? When we
You
speak
made
of
the list,
prediction,
Robbie. You're
obviously-
the one telling us how to do it. We're only
I
following
guess
the
I didn't
instructions
make
you
it clear
gave
enough.
us.
I'm sorry.
So, games to open and close each conference. We've got Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. What do we think for Sony? I'm going to list.
Gary
off
doesn't like us
opening-
when us kids fight, Robbie.
I'm just so angry right now. It's fine.
For Sony, I'm opening up with Destiny 2, and I'm closing with Red Dead Redemption 2. What do we think, Brian?
Sony, I'm going with Destiny 2 and Red Dead Redemption 2.
You're gonna
That's
also
just what
double
you
down?
just said, isn't it?
That's what I just said. So
Okay,
we're
I'm
gonna-
going to change it to an previously unannounced game for opening. They'll put Destiny in the middle somewhere, and then Red Dead Redemption 2. I can't go off of that for the closer. I think it's just
Robbie,
too important.
What do you think, Robbie?
Sucker Punch's IP will be opening.
Okay.
Something first party really big will close. I'm not sure what specifically. Could be Bloodborne 2. It might be that, but I'm not 100%.
Bloodborne 2.
Blood porn, yes.
Bloodborne 2. That sounds just deeply, deeply traumatizing. Okay, Microsoft. I've got opening Sea of Thieves, and I had closing Halo 6, which is now gone. So I'm going to say unannounced IP, because I don't know what else they could show that's bigger than Sea of Thieves.
I
And
also
they've lost
had
Halo.
Halo 6 as a closer.
Until
what do
the
you think?
news broke.
So as
and then
far as
had to
I know,
change
they're
that.
both unannounced because I don't know anything else that Sony could or Microsoft could be releasing. It's like
Gears 5.
They just came out with Gears 4 like last year, though.
Yeah, that's too soon. They wouldn't
I
do
know.
that.
They just have so little in the way of like games. That's the problem. Like this, to me, E3 needs to be about games. Like, yeah, they're announcing and releasing a new console this year, but they gotta give me reasons to play it, to buy it. They don't have the
I
games.
literally
That's the problem.
don't care about Scorpio if there's no.
They've really never sold me on the
compelling
Xbox One. I bought one. Of course, I have an Xbox One, but they've never really gave me a reason to turn it on.
No. No, I hear you. Robbie, what do you think, Microsoft?
I think they'll open with Scorpio plus something new, and close with that third-party IP, or not third-party, third-person IP that I mentioned. I think that'll fill the void with Scalebound. Something big at the end that we don't know about.
Interesting.
How
So
bad
Ninten-
was Scalebound that they let that one fucking die?
They
It was
did
like
the
the
same with
only
Fable
one.
Legends. Fable Legends went as well. That was like an
Yeah.
Evolve style game.
No
wasn't
one
it?
cared about that game, though. Let's be real. Whereas Scalebound,
Yeah, but at
people
least it
were
was
excited
something
for
to
it.
release on their console. Like
True.
that's-
Yes.
I think we see Fable reborn. I do think Fable's a strong franchise, and Fable, if you do it right, if you create a Witcher 3 style Fable with the same quirky British world that they had, I think Fable could be a strong RPG.
I would play that for sure.
Yeah. I just think they need to
Anytime you
create
say
the right
like
world.
The Witcher 3, though, I'm like, yeah, I'll play that.
So
That's
it's
all you gotta
VR,
say.
and it's like The Witcher 3. That's
They
it.
got a new PS Vita game, and it's like The Witcher 3. Okay, I'm in.
Awesome. And then Nintendo, I've got opening Splatoon 2, and to close, I'm in a toss-up because I think it's going to be Mario Odyssey, but I really hope it's Pokemon for the Switch and 3DS. I really hope it is.
I went opening Mario New Donk City and then closing Pokemon.
My opening would be Super Mario Odyssey. Closing would be New Metroid, and I also say it's going to be out this fall.
New Metroid? Oh!
Yes. AAA Metroid.
2D or 3D?
And it's out this year.
2D or
That's
3D?
big.
3D.
What about both? What about
God
both?
damn it,
What if-
Robbie!
What if it's like Near Automata, where it's got 2D and 3D elements, where it shifts in view, and it takes you into 2D levels and then brings you back out into a 3D platform?
That sounds good.
Possible.
Okay.
I think it'll be strictly 3D, though.
Could
I
be
don't
that.
know.
So that was pretty much it on my games to open and close. Robbie, did you have
Frag
anything else?
is in chat, and he mentions Crackdown 3. We never mentioned Crackdown 3, but for me, Crackdown sold because it had the Halo beta in it. And then Crackdown, and it ended up being a great game, but the only reason anybody bought it was because it had the Halo beta in it. And then
Yeah, Halo
Crackdown 2
3.
came out, and it was really disappointing. So Crackdown 3, it's not like this supportive like pillar of the Xbox brand that people make it out to be. It was a lark that it ever sold in the first place.
Yeah, I don't know
and
how
then
big it is.
had a disappointing sequel.
So to me, Crackdown feels a lot like the infamous brand for PlayStation, in that it's kind of fun, It's an open world kind of city roaming game to an extent, pseudo open world. The thing that puts me off about Crackdown 3 is I've not seen much around it, but there was some talk around the city destruction being possible because of cloud computing power. So you needed to be always connected because there were going to be supercomputers that were going to be allowing you to do the citywide destruction.
Mm-hmm. You're playing multiplayer against Watson.
Yeah, I mean, that to me just sounds broken, and it sounds like something that could potentially not function. And any time you say to me always online,
marketing bullshit right from the get-go.
Yeah. It doesn't have a compelling loop to me. There's nothing that's making me want to find out more. You know, you're trying to sell me with a technical gimmick, like Red Faction, if you remember, where you could blow up parts of the wall. Do you remember the old Red Faction?
Yeah.
And it was a really average FPS that you could blow up parts of the wall in. That was the kind of the loop. So I just worry that Crackdown 3 is selling on a gimmick. Sea of Thieves we didn't mention at all for Microsoft, and that's probably because BC was here and his pony was rubbing off on all of us.
No, it's because there's just so much, that's all. Don't be mad at Beastly. He's doing...
I'm not mad. We love him deeply. We love him deeply. But the Sea of
Maybe a little
Thieves...
too deeply.
I think is going to be good because, like you said, Brian, there's going to be that theme around the customer engagement and a game that's persistent online and has that MMO community element. And I think Sea of Thieves is going to be the sleeper hit for Xbox.
Will that come out this year?
It has to. And I think if we're going to do one last category, I guess, to close off, is going to be sleeper star of the show. And I'm going to lead off by saying Sea of Thieves is going to be the sleeper star of the show for me.
I feel like that is the game that's like the undercurrent of conversation right now. It's like if you stream video games right now, you've got Sea of Thieves very much on your radar because from what it looks like, it's gonna be fun to play and fun to watch, and you're gonna be able to play it with your friends, and it's gonna create a lot of just like a ridiculous kind of shit happening all over the place. Sea of Thieves looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Or a No Man's Sky. We don't know yet. So
that's the other thing. It could be.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But people have their eye on that game. When I talk to other YouTubers and other Twitch streamers, Sea of Thieves comes up a lot.
So is that also your sleeper hit for E3? Then you think?
Sleeper. Let me think about it. Robbie, you go with that.
Problem is, I'm also thinking too, what could be a sleeper hit? Like what's under the radar, but we know could really knock someone's socks off, like kind of just come out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Maybe
right?
Days Gone. Actually, I think people were excited for that, but there was God of War and all this amazing stuff around it that I don't think people were as high on Days Gone. I think that game might. Was
that the one with like a lot of people thought at first when we saw the trailer that it was another Last of Us, and then it turned out to be like
there's like hundreds of zombies.
Yeah, hundreds of zombies, and he's just like randomly. Yeah, that game looks cool.
I think people people were excited for that, but like we saw God of War, which looked incredible, and Horizon and stuff, and I think that went a little under the radar. So I think that has the potential to kind of come out and be like, I think so.
We don't think Assassin's Creed with the new Egyptian vibe is going to be anyway a departure for the series or anything that's going to revitalize it.
Well, I think it easily could.
It's hard to land. Like if you jump off a pyramid, you gotta get some fucking horizontal
hay bales too.
Leap action to get to that hay bale. I mean, that's a long way to go.
Leap off a sphinx, I guess. Maybe.
A sphinx, yeah. Mm.
Yeah, I just don't know whether or not we're interested enough with Assassin's Creed Origins, whether or not we think that's going to be... Is it going to be like The Witcher 3, Briar? That's the question.
I'll buy it if it is.
There you go.
So. It's funny. The Assassin's Creed, I loved the first two games. I was one of the few people who really adored the first one, right? And I understood it had some problems when I was playing it, but it just felt so new and fresh. And then Assassin's 2 came out, and it really, it took a lot of what was good about the first one and then really improved on it in tons of ways. But it just never evolved, and they kept coming out with them so fucking fast that, it's like, it's hard to imagine that series gaining any interest from anybody at this point. Bloodborne 2, I don't know. That doesn't feel like a sleeper. Star Wars Battlefront doesn't feel like a sleeper. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm just going to
Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Sea of Thieves, but in reality, it'll probably be some random game that we've never heard of until E3 actually happens.
Yeah.
Awesome. So the Beastly Thoughts crew are backing Sea of Thieves in this E3, are we? Is that the one we're saying? The one to watch?
I definitely am interested. I'm watching it. That's for sure.
Yeah, totally.
My interest in playing video games revolves around having fun with other players now, a lot more than it used to. Destiny changed something in me, like fundamentally about how I enjoy video games, where it's become much more of a social thing than it used to be. I guess it was originally too. You know, sitting in front of a TV with a couple of your buddies on the couch, you know, punching each other on the shoulder. Like, I feel like it's returned to that, but it's online, and you just want those interactions. And the more ridiculous shit you can get up to, the better. And Sea of Thieves looks like it's going to be the perfect vehicle for that.
Awesome. Well, I think that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's everything I wanted to say about E3. Do you guys have anything else to add?
No. I feel like we talked the shit
I think
out
we're
of
good.
E3.
That was a lot.
I don't even feel like you need to watch the show anymore. After we just covered E3 as far as I'm concerned.
We went through everything. We nailed it. We really did.
There's nothing that could be announced at E3 at this point that can in any way surprise anybody.
We've just speculated on the craziest things. Yeah, I can't see like
the PlayStation Echo. You mark my words, it's coming.
I hope you're right. Can you imagine? Or even if there is like an actual Vita 2. Oh my god, that'll blow my mind.
So, housekeeping, Briar, this week you're going to be in LA?
In LA, yeah, heading out on Wednesday. Streaming schedule, I think I should mention, is probably going to be somewhat limited. I might stream on Monday just to make up for the streams I'm going to miss later in the week. Tuesday is going to be all about packing and getting ready to go. Obviously, I'll be flying on Wednesday, so there'll be no stream. I'll be at the conference on Thursday, and then we'll see about Friday. It depends on the hotel internet on Friday. Yeah. And then I'll be traveling home on Saturday.
Awesome.
We can't wait to hear what you think about Destiny and telling us how hyped we should be and, you know, how many of our money we should be throwing at the screen.
I'll take all the money, throw it all at the screen.
What the viewers can't see is
money ready to go.
Those $100 bills. Briar is a very wealthy man.
Rich.
For people who've stuck around this long as well, just to let you know for the future, there is an audio version of Beastly Thought Show available on Podbean and iTunes. Links will be in the video description on YouTube, and they may well be posted into the chat now if anyone has them available. Also, guys, don't know your movements, Briar, but will you be around town for the show next week?
I will definitely be here for the show next week.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So there will be a regular scheduled show next week where we will make fun of Beastly. Gary will drink tea, and Robbie will apologize.
Yeah, that typically happens.
Fantastic. Well, thank you everyone for staying on this long. We've run extra long this time. It's been
2-hour show, man. We went
progressively
through
getting
everything.
longer and longer. We started an hour, moved to 90, and now we've hit the 2. I think we've peaked.
It was absolutely incredible that we went through everything from E3, Sony, Microsoft, EA, Bethesda. We basically covered it all. Just wanted to say thank you so much for sticking with all of us. It was fun just to talk about just crazy speculation, really. You know, I had sort of an order in my head I wanted to go through things, but I'm glad we kind of just went all out crazy, you know, just kind of random. It was fun, but we got
kind of random. We went through the list that you gave.
I guess I didn't even really have an order for the list. I just had everything written down. I'm like, okay, we'll just kind of do it as we see fit. And then everyone just got mad at me. I'm like, okay, like this is what I planned anyways.
I look forward to it when we release
awesome.
The Blu-ray of this episode with all the deleted scenes where we just abuse Robbie behind the scenes for 10 minutes.
That's the stuff that we keep in. That's the good stuff. That's what
gets the clicks, you know.
Awesome.
All right, thank you guys, everybody, for watching. We'll see you next week.
Have a great day, guys. Take care.